April was a month full of surprises, new PBs from seasoned runners of different games, activity in games that had been in hibernation for 3 years, and the announcement of LEGOthon 2024. We'll cover all of that and more in this monthly recap.
LEGO Marvel Super Heroes 2 was utterly shaken this month by none other than Seed and Aztec. With a pure domination across most categories on the board, Seed kicked off the month on the 2nd with a replay story world record, slashing over 20 minutes off the previous record held by Quasar. However, this was just the tip of the iceberg for Seed. The very next day, he shattered his any percent no-cut world record by 4 minutes. Yet, Seed wasn't content with that achievement alone. He then broke the world record again by an astounding 6 minutes, achieving a final time of 2 hours, 2 minutes and 37 seconds. This marked a colossal improvement of around half an hour since the previous month, inching this game closer to the elusive sub-2 barrier, which undoubtedly will be surpassed one day. But the excitement didn't stop there. Seed continued his streak by smashing the standard world record by nearly 50 whole minutes, reducing the time to an astonishing 3 hours, 20 minutes and 10 seconds. And just when you thought he was finished, Seed had one more trick up his sleeve, securing a new free play world record on the 7th with a final time of 45 minutes and 51 seconds, surpassing the previous record by over 20 minutes. Keep in mind, all of these records took place within 5 days. Insane. Numerous new strategies were employed in all of these runs, but the bulk of the time saved was attributed to Seed's remarkable consistency and ability to consistently perform at a high level. Outstanding work, Seed. Godspeed on your journey to conquer the next game you decide to tackle.
The LEGO Ninjago movie video game finally saw some activity with some new world records this month. Starting off on the 13th of April, I beat the any percent world record by just 17 seconds with a time of 59 minutes and 3 seconds loadless. This being the first ever run to do the chapter 13 skip that was found in February that saves over a minute. This however did not last long, and Flaming Laser came back to the game just 5 days later on the 19th and beat my time by 30 seconds with a time of 58 minutes and 34 seconds, also being his first run to do the chapter 13 skip. And the next day, he improved this time, getting a 58.22, which is where the record currently stands. Moving on to LEGO DC Supervillains. This game was definitely the most active one this month. Starting off strong on the 1st of April, Quasar beat the free play world record at a time of 1 hour and 3 seconds, being the first run in the category to be timed loadless and beating the previous RTA record by just over 7 minutes. After that, a series of new skips in the game were found. On the 17th, Atom Skip was discovered, a skip for the Atom boss fight in the hub before the 7th level by hitting the out of bounds door for the cutscene that normally triggers after defeating him. On top of that, for whatever reason, doing this skip manipulates the AI in the watchtower section to go to the lower floor before the lasers turn on. In its entirety, this skip saves about 50 seconds to a minute, and it gets rid of a clip and a very inconsistent warp during the aforementioned watchtower section. On the 19th, a skip was found in the 12th level to get Harley Quinn across the gap early by doing a precise V-Sync launch off of a slope to make it on top of the statue and be able to jump the gap. This skips a few builds and camera pans and saves roughly a minute. On the 21st, yet another skip was discovered, this time for free play. The last room of level 9 is one of the few rooms in the game that disables your ability to fly. However, by clipping out of bounds at the top of the railing, then jumping around the wall with a speedster, you can jump up some collision and utilizing Killer Frost's gliding ability, hit the out of bounds door to finish the level, skipping the Grid and Deathstorm boss fights. This saves over 2 minutes and is in my opinion one of the hardest skips the free play category has to offer. Following the discovery of these new skips, I set a new world record in the any percent category with a time of 2 hours, 5 minutes and 47 seconds loadless, beating the previous record by exactly 8 minutes. This record was however far from perfect, which was helped by the fact that on the 22nd, CO discovered a new 10-second time save in the hub before the 4th level, by clipping out of bounds with a flying character to get to the panel early. And on the 23rd, I discovered a skip for the entire room 1 of the 12th level, which is where the new V-Sync launch was discovered just days prior. By setting your respawn point close to the ceiling with a flying character, then falling into a specific part of the kill plane, it can activate the fall rescue effect, and if you time starting your flight correctly, it allows you to clip through the ceiling, skipping everything in that room and saving 1.5 minutes to the launch strat. Armed with the newly found time saves, I set a new world record in the any percent category on the 24th with a time of 2 hours, 1 minute and 35 seconds loadless, beating my previous run from days prior by just over 4 minutes. And finally on the 29th, I also did a free play run and got a time of 48 minutes and 59 seconds loadless, being the first ever sub 1 hour and sub 50 minute time in the category. Overall a great month for this game and I'm hoping it will get even better. A vote was held this month in LEGO Harry Potter Years 1 through 4 to determine what the new rules for the No Levels Early category should be. This category was originally made when the frame perfect cutscene skips, or CSS, were found, and the purpose of it was to have an any percent without them. Since then, there have been a few new methods found of performing CSS, such as leaving the room at the correct time instead of doing frame perfect pauses, and finding ways of doing them without entering levels early. The community felt like the No Levels Early category had to change to also account for new discoveries. The results of the vote determined that from now on, the category bans doing any CSS that has to do with frame perfect pauses or leaving the room at the precise time, and any CSS in the hub world that is deemed precise. This change does not impact any runs on the board, however this outcome just makes the rules much clearer for the future runs of the category.
This summer, the LEGO speedrunning community will be hosting the 7th annual LEGOthon Speedrunning Marathon in support of Extra Life on the LEGO Speedruns Twitch channel. This marathon will run from July 12th through July 14th, starting at around 10 AM EST each day, and will feature dozens of showcase runs from various LEGO games by members of the community. The submission period is open through the end of this month, and the schedule will be linked on May's monthly recap.
Multiple LEGO games, or MLG, had some activity this month. Starting on April 19th, Janik gets the world record in LEGO Racers Any% Glitchless with a final time of 2 hours, 4 minutes, and 37 seconds, cutting the previous record by over 11 minutes. In this run, Janik PB'd in Racers 2 by over 2 minutes and barely missed PB in Racers 1 by 0.18 seconds. The next day, Bixel and Bearhead started a pre-TSS co-op run, the first non-relay pre-TSS run to ever be performed. They beat the Any% no cut for all 25 TT LEGO games, excluding the Skywalker Saga, and it took them 3 days, 19 hours, and 44 minutes. A lot of these games were played completely casually, meaning they didn't really know any skips or strats, so it's by no means a highly skilled run. But it's still a crazy feat to play 91 hours of LEGO games with only 2 short sleep breaks. On the 26th, Force got his first MLG record in the LEGO Indiana Jones games, getting a 2:20:13 Any% no cut record. The first LAJ doesn't have no cut, so no cut was only used in LAJ 2. However, he watched all the cutscenes in his 2:40:57 in the Any% standard category on April 30th. This 2:40:57 was about 4.5 minute cut from the previous record. We shall watch his LIJ career with great interest. Lastly this month, the community held a vote on 2 different topics for MLG runs. The first was about transition times between games, and it was decided that transition times would be removed, up to a given time. For a rough example, say if you're switching games from LEGO Harry Potter 1 through 4 to 5 through 7, up to 1 minute of time will be removed to give runners time to set up 5 through 7. The transition time would be compounded for longer categories, so a category like Grunt% would allow runners to take up to 25 minutes for transitions and brief breaks. Times are still in the works, so take these numbers with a grain of salt. The other topic was about sleep breaks, which will be allowed as well. After 16 hours of running, runners are allowed up to 9 hours for sleep. Small details are still in the works, but these new allowances will standardize hardware differences and promote more healthy running, especially in long runs. On April 14th, TCS had their second Any% relay in a similar format as last month. This relay had Anonymous, Garrison, and Core on Team 1, Charizite, Phantom, and Laser on Team 2, and Saber and Jablaki on Team 3. There was also a free play relay, with switching runners in between episodes just like the Any% relay on the 28th. This one had Anonymous, Phantom, and Seed on Team 1, Gus, Saber, and Jablaki on Team 2, and Laser, Raffo, and Carcoon on Team 3. Lastly, on April 21st, Jablaki and Saber brought the free play co-op record down once more with a load remove time of 1:08:48. It's really impressive to see them bring this category down so low, even surpassing their own solo PBs. Carcoon and Paxo continued their trading of PC Any% records in LSW2 from last month. Starting with Carcoon on the 3rd, he improved his previous record by 1 minute and 51 seconds, getting a 1:43:21. Paxo fires back the next day with a 1:42:01, but that doesn't last long. On the 7th, Carcoon gets the sub 1:41 with a final time of 1:40:58, where the record stands today. We also saw a quick 44:29 from Saber in PC Freeplay.
This month, Bionicle Maze of Shadows, the only turn-based Bionicle game, got its first speedruns. Rin did all of the planning, routing, strategy optimizations, and running, and they did a fantastic job. They opted to only level up Vakama since he is the best in combat, and not leveling up the other characters cuts out a lot of EXP grinding. While this is theoretically the fastest strategy, it is prone to bad enemy RNG that can wipe your team, which could either send you back a floor and lose a couple minutes, or even end the run entirely. Rin's first personal best time came on April 6th, with a time of 3 hours, 14 minutes, 10 seconds. They lowered their time 4 more times throughout the month, with their best coming on April 26th, with a time of 2 hours, 45 minutes, and 5 seconds, which is where the world record currently stands. Meanwhile, in Bionicle the game, I found an application for a trick I had discovered previously that I call rope springing. Pausing and unpausing the game causes all of the ropes in the level to recoil as if they were rubber bands. By pausing while the rope is at its most stretched, you can build up enough height to skip a small jumping section, saving up to 2 seconds.
In terms of miscellaneous games, we only have 2 to cover, but they're pretty impressive runs. LEGO Builder's Journey, a game that got its first bit of recent activity last month, had a new world record in the game's only category 100% by Crevis, with a 13-second improvement for a 37:45. In LEGO Island 2 The Brickster's Revenge for GBA, our own Andore secured a world record by 1 second, the first record in this version of the game in 3 years. But that just about wraps up our monthly recap for April of 2024. As always, join the LEGO Speedrunning Discord to keep up to date with all things, including the upcoming LEGOthon event in July. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next month.